until you discover you don't have to do it alone. You can leverage technology backed by a team of people who are
YouTube, what's good?
Good morning.
Hello, YouTube.
your business with a frequent
Hello, YouTube.
online store, accept and track payments from debit cards, bank transfers, USSD, QR code, enable POS for your online and physical stores, digitize your bookkeeping, reduce late payments, and lots more. You see, it doesn't have to be so hard. QuickTeller Business makes business better. Visit business.quickteller.com to register your business. QuickTeller, everything is possible.
It's Ofu Okpekpa. It's the breakfast show on Smooth 98.1. The best combination of radio and coffee. Business Express. Brought to you by InterSwitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
Good morning. This is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It's time for Business Express 981. And this morning we have something very interesting we're going to be discussing as always. And we would love for you to be a part of our conversation. If you're new to the show, please reach out to us on WhatsApp. 0809-444-0981 is where you can send your messages to. And also you can reach out to us on our YouTube platform. It's youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. As always, leading us through conversations is Rotus. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Kayode. Good morning to all our viewers. Good to be with you on a Hub of the Week Wednesday.
Yes. Good to be here with you as well. So I said we're talking about something very interesting today. Banks order staff to close early because of diesel costs. And it's quite funny because I don't think I've heard news or stories like this in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Now, the bank in question, we don't know which bank it is because it was an internal memo that was it covered up the name of the bank and so everybody's been trying to guess which bank it is. They were saying that staff have to leave the premises by 5 p.m. And if you don't leave the premises on time, you will be disciplined. Now, there's one particular bank that closes at 5. I know one bank that closes at 5. Others close around 4 p.m.
I think
I thought that was the bank.
5, and others close at 4. I think the orange one closes at 5.
Exactly. So I sent a message to somebody I know that works at the orange one, but they said, no, it's not them. So, I mean, it's so basically for people at home, just to understand what's going on, these companies run on diesel generators. And so with diesel, last I checked, it was $6.50. Some are saying it's $7.20 in some areas. It costs them more to run their generators. And so they're telling staff they have to bounce. Even on Twitter, I was looking at a number of responses on Twitter. People said that, if somebody that worked in a hospital said that if they don't have any patients at the time, or a clinic or so, I think it was a clinic, they said they'll close early. Someone in a school, it was just a lot of testimonies from different people saying that businesses that they worked in were trying to shorten their hours, just so they don't have to run their gens. Another grid collapse happened yesterday. The grid closed around, I think it shut down around 5:10 p.m. There were notices that were sent out. So you've got an increased amount of collapses where there's no power. As I'm talking to you now, generator is running, and there's less power available. And then people have to resort to their generators more, which is also costing them more. And this is affecting everyone. I contacted a couple of the telco companies, asked them, your the base stations that you run, don't they run on diesel gens? And they were like, yes. Now, of course, so the telco, some of them have outsourced the management of these base stations to other companies to run them. But I mean, it's still a cost, that is impacting them. I mean, just think of anyone. There's all sorts of companies that have come out now saying they need help. The airline operators of Nigeria, they actually agreed to they somehow twisted the arm of the government into subsidizing their jet fuel. Mele Kyari yesterday made an announcement that for the next 3 days until further talks continue, aviation fuel will be sold at 500 naira per liter, even though it's over 600. Yeah. So they are subsidizing that cost for the airlines, but the airlines are still trying to work out a template, which is a template which is supposed to break down the cost. They're still trying to work that out. Northern broadcasters of Nigeria have come out saying that they may not be able to continue to broadcast on air, on radio or television, because they are looking for, their diesel costs are facing them, are hitting them hard. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria is asking for help from the government. Where is all that help going to come from? In fact, the government, the big news from the government, according to Reuters, Zainab Ahmed apparently told them that Nigeria might have to tap into Eurobond proceeds. This is money that was raised on the international capital markets. A Eurobond is an IOU that you issue, in order for you to raise money. She's saying they may have to go and take that money and use it for to pay for the extra increased subsidy costs. So you're just getting, it's just everywhere you go. Inflation data came out, trade data came out.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
So much, man.
So, I mean, the figures were released yesterday. What do you make of this?
Yeah, inflation increased. It was no surprise. I mean, I expected it to happen. A lot of people expected it because of what we saw in February with the whole Russia-Ukraine war. Diesel costs and everything started to rise. Core inflation, I think that was where we saw the biggest increase. But headline inflation rose to 15.7% from 15.6 in year on year in January. So we saw a climb there. And I mean, it's no surprise. Let me go over the other figures.
Let me ask you this though. You're saying that.
Well, one second. Just want to give the real quick, just the other figures.
The figures.
Inflation 15.7, food inflation 17.1, core inflation, which removes volatile farm produce. That is where we saw the big spike because of energy is there in core inflation. So 14.1% from 13.87. And then month-on-month inflation, all the categories rose: headline, food, core, urban, rural. So yeah,
everything's rising. But then, okay, so as we hear that these things are rising, what do these figures mean for the average Nigerian?
Your disposable income is being squeezed. And in fact, that's on personal finance today. That's what we're going to be talking about. It's just, how to get around it. Your disposable income is squeezed. As prices rise year on year, you are not able to afford what you could the year before. Your wages are not rising in tandem, so people are not getting paid more in correspondence with the way prices are rising. So that's the squeeze.
Got a few messages here. This one from let's see now. First message here from Benga Kamo. Benga Kamo says the people and businesses are trying to save costs. It has become worse. Imagine the price of diesel now. We can see the NNPC isn't claiming they have enough diesel in their reserves. How much have we lost in the economy so far? And then he says, when some are clamoring for fuel subsidy removal, others are asking for it. All those in manufacturing that has been parroting market forces, everyone is running to the government now. All right. And then
exactly.
Power issues, solutions, power issue, solutions should just be decentralize it. Okay.
Yeah, but if you do watch it, so this is what we're seeing when you have a deregulated market where you see what's happening with diesel. You can see how if corridor rises, it's going to rise and everybody's going to be paying more money. So you can imagine what we would have been paying for fuel right now if those subsidies had been removed. You can only imagine. We could possibly have been paying 500, 600, 700 naira per liter for fuel, which would just be crazy.
Frank comes in to say, good morning, guys. The Orange Bank readily comes to mind. Their cost-cutting strategy is legendary. My firm has the same policy before the spike in diesel prices. I know they will be contemplating full-time work from home soon to save money. It's crazy stuff everywhere. All right.
I thought it was the Orange Bank. I really did, but they're denying it. So I won't. But yeah, that cost-cutting measures, yes, indeed. That's very true.
Yinka Bulu comes in to say, great collapse is normal, but we need to be guided with its frequency of repetition. Can they at least come out to explain the reason with this collapse and its frequency? Because all we know is that for all we know, it could be a nut case playing with the switch or an incompetent dude doing something wrong. At least let's have an RCA report to avoid an occurrence. Okay.
Well,
All right.
it's bad though. It's pretty bad. Thank you for your messages. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So going back into our conversation, we've been talking about inflation so far. So we've talked about what this means for the average Nigerian, and you know, recently we also got the latest foreign trade figures for Nigeria. What do they tell us?
Yeah, the Bureau of Statistics also released our foreign trade balance. We're in a deficit. So what that means is Nigeria in 2021, we imported, which is no surprise, we imported more goods than we exported. Our deficits increased to 1.9 trillion naira. So that means basically Nigeria exports amounted to 18.9 trillion in 2021, most of which was oil. And then we imported 20.1 trillion. So when you subtract your, if your exports are more than your imports, you have a surplus. If your exports are less than your imports, you have a deficit. So that's what happened. So it's a 1.9 trillion naira deficit. I think in 2020, the deficit was 178 billion. So it jumped massively. And so that's the reason why basically, they're just giving us the numbers with respect to trade. Crude oil exports were more than half of our foreign trade earnings. I think they increased by 53%, no surprise there. But non-oil exports, I think, was up 46%, but still not enough to be able to reduce the deficit. So you can think of recession, or in a recession in 2020, in 2021, there was a recovery. There was, a rebound in people ordering goods. We have our exchange rate issues. We have the Nigerians importing a lot of items. So we have a deficit for 2021. I think the last two times we had deficits was in 2016 and 2020 as a result of pressure from recession. But unfortunately, we pumped less oil in 2021. I think we're down to 1.3 million barrels per day. It was 1.5 or so in 2020. So we've trade issues as well. As long as the exchange rate is not where it's supposed to be, Nigerians keep importing more goods from overseas, we're going to continue to see a trade deficit. So your deficit is at 1.9 trillion naira, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. Okay, real quick, just before I let you leave, let's circle back and quickly talk all about, the issues surrounding diesel and also, the latest that's going on with the airlines. But then again, just before you answer those questions, though, let's quickly attend to some of the messages here up on our WhatsApp platform. It's 0809-444-0981. Big Guy Kamo comes back to say, what's the impact of all these events on the stock exchange? And let's see. Omobala Yusuf says, how good is the SSA Eurobond investments giving double-digit returns, but the USD and, of course, the Nigerian Naira is 583 at the inflow markets? Yeah,
so, I mean, you mean Eurobonds? How good are Eurobonds? The thing is at 15.6%. So whatever it is you're investing in has to be higher than 15% in order for you to get a real rates of return. I've been told that people should look at gold. There's a new gold ETF on the exchange. You might want to consider getting that. Gold now. Because look, outside of gold and FX, that is dollars. I can't think of what else can be giving you
that's stable
15%. The stock exchange was down yesterday. I think we're still positive for the year. I think we're still up about 9% so far this year, but it was down yesterday. There's still some good stocks that you can look at, but it's kind of tough out there. People just need to conserve their consumption. We'll talk about this more on personal finance later in the afternoon, 5:15 p.m. But on investments and what to look at. But everybody, just watch your pockets, please, because it's rough out there.
All right, final message here. This one from Yinka Bolu. He comes back to say, this country will give you PTSD. Now that you are driving and drive past a fuel station, you begin to wonder, why is the queue unusually long? Next thing, to avoid you sharply join them. This has happened to him. Well, I mean,
rough. Everybody, hang tight, everybody, hang tight. So rough. This war needs to end. Although I know oil prices are coming down a bit, but they're still at the $100. They dropped briefly below $100 yesterday. So, that's due to hopefully peace talks in Ukraine. Also, COVID pressures in China. I think that's also impacting oil prices, but they're still high. So we just have to hope things work out because this is impacting everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, Rotus. Always a pleasure having you here.
Right.
And you can find Rotus on social media at Rotus and Quote, particularly on Twitter. Okay. He'll be back here tomorrow for Business Express, and you can catch him for personal
finance. Yeah. 5:15.
Yes. 5:15 today on the Smooth Drive.
All right.
Thanks, Rotus.
Thanks, Kayode. Take it easy.
All right, Lagos, there's more to come. This has been Business Express. In a few more minutes, it's going to be Freshly Pressed 981, but that's at 7:30. So please stay with us.